webinar.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So, Piyush, tell me about your first visit to BML Munjal University. When you visited campus, what led you to decide to take an admission at BMU? What were those things which attracted you think like that? Yes, BMU is the final destination where you can stop and you can start your engineering education.
So before coming to the college, I had some options with me, and engineering, mostly they were engineering ones only. So from the starting only, I had no mindset of going into a regular kind of college. So where you just go to the classes and do something and just study all day. So I was looking for something unique in a college, and something which makes it stand out of the other things, like they the kind of focus they put on experiential learning, and the kind of labs they had, the equipment in the labs, and just everything about it was kind of uh, exactly what I needed in a college, what I was looking for. And the campus was very, very neat and clean. It was greenery all around, so many trees. It was just refreshing whenever you step outside. And even though I saw a little bit of course curriculum also, and I found that the courses are designed in such a way that the experiential part is maximized as much as it can be. And so these were the main benefits which I saw in joining BMU. And so I took the choice, and I am happy with the choice I took.
Okay, great, Piyush. So whatever the features which you highlighted, it definitely we are going to discuss everything in detail during this webinar so that our prospective students who are looking for admission and looking for, to start their engineering career, so they shall understand that what BMU offers to its students, right? So, okay. So once you took an admission in engineering degree, was there any change in your life? Because until 12th, you were kind of a very set kind of, timeline, going through schools, going through studies. But in an engineering now, you all of a sudden you are encountered with a lot of new courses which you probably were not aware of, and dealing with a lot of assignments. So was there any change? What was your life previously, and what was the change in the perspective to look at your career once you step into engineering education?
So before engineering, the life was very easy when I look back at right now. So everything was spoon-fed. We were given books that only you had to read these things, and the paper will be out of these questions and all. So when I started here, so I remember in the first semester itself, we were taken to the workshop lab, and we saw all the heavy machinery which is there for mechanical students. So basically the first year is mixture of all the things for all the
Right.
branches, right? So we were taken to the mechanical lab, and we saw the machines, the CNC lathe, and the welding part also, the carpentry also, the robotic arm. And I was just fascinated at once after seeing that. So I thought that they are just going to show us, and we'll just read it in the books and we'll give the exams. But each and every machine which was there, it was covered. We were told to operate it, and we were shown how it does operate. And the best part was we were told to do welding of two
Okay.
pieces together.
Right.
So that was I had never thought that we would be doing such kind of things, like actually doing the things which we learn.
Right.
And in that particular part, I would say more than 70% was just working on the machines, doing practically what we are learning, and the theoretical was very, very less. So at that point of time, I realized that even in the further courses, I'm sure that whatever I'll be doing or whatever other students will be doing, it will be much more approach oriented and much more experiential. So I got ready about to learn new things, because it's not possible to learn everything in the class. It is very less time which is devoted. and it can't be even more than that also. So it is up to us to learn and put in extra effort. So that is the major difference for what I think before engineering and after engineering, that the life is in your hands right now, and you need to take the decision, and you can't blame anyone else for what you become after 4 years if you don't succeed. So it is up to you. And obviously the environment which is provided by the college matters a lot. So the environment is totally stress free. There is no kind of pressure of studies. Even with minimum efforts you can get a very good CGPA, and which can pass the rules set by the company nowadays. So I would say that engineering has totally changed my life and perspective of seeing what things need to be done and how they need to be done.
Great, Piyush. So, since you are mentioned about experiential learning, so let others also know about that. BMU always, focus on experiential learning component, where students are always given opportunity to learn by doing. You just mentioned that your visit to mechanical workshops,
Yeah,
where you were asked to do welding. So even I, as a teacher, also I try to engage my students to give them hands-on learning so that they can understand that what is the connection between theory and practical, and they can
right.
work on real-world problems. And when I talk about BML Munjal University, so the one such course is Joy of Engineering, which is being offered to first year student, and
Right.
that course is purely on experiential learning component. I mean, based on experiential learning, where there is no kind of a set theory where teacher is
Yeah,
coming giving lectures and you are grabbing the knowledge, then you are developing something. So it's a totally kind of hands-on experience learning, hands-on experience thing, where you do your work and then only you learn. So
right.
what was your experience, because you might have not heard about this thing, because the term is also really very fancy. It's a joy of engineering. You
Yeah.
enjoy the engineering things. So what was your experience in that?
So, like we discussed, that shift of before engineering and after engineering. So, joy of engineering is that initial blow that you get
Okay.
because you go to the class, the teacher won't teach you anything. You need to find a project, you need to find the resources. If you have any doubt, the teacher is there to help you, but 90% of the effort is yours only.
Okay.
So, you just it is just the first year only, so many are just laid back kind of attitude that we learn, okay, we are just starting. But a joy of engineering pushes you to get into the field, to explore different areas, and to explore what possibilities you can do. Because there is one thing that when you start learning, then your mind kind of gets narrowed down to one particular topic. So if you are not aware of anything, you can think of many variety of ideas. So which are may might not even be thought by a person who is learning something. So that particular point of introducing joy of engineering, I guess, is very effective, because what a novice can think of, that can be of great help to even an experienced one. So, like we told, that experiential learning, so we don't have any exams there, we don't have any tests there. We are just focused on building something, building some drones or robots, or
Right.
using Arduino. So that is the stepping stone of experiential learning, I would say. And most of our journey ahead into the engineering is dependent on what kind of projects we do on joy of engineering. I've seen some people getting internships in third year also based on something which what they did in joy of engineering. So I guess it is a very effective course, and at a very effective time.
Okay, so that's great. Just imagine that the classroom environment where the students are not only studying, they are even identifying that what problem they have to work upon. If it is your problem, which you have identified, definitely you put your zeal and there would be more sincerity. But it's not kind that you would be left alone, right? And you will wonder on these things, how to solve that problem. There is a one mentor with him, with all the students, with you, who always hold your hand, right? It would not be spoon-fed, but the student will always explore what could be the different approaches to solve that problem. So great, it's a pretty good course. Even I also, as a teacher, I admire that course. Okay, not even joy of engineering. Let's talk about another experiential learning components which BMU offers to its students, and there is a very beautiful concept of practice school,
Right.
right? And BMU offer practice school 1, practice school 2, and practice school 3 in first year, second year, and third years, right, of
Right.
engineering. So just tell me that what did you learn in your first year? What was the thing? Though it was a very short kind of
Mm.
internship, 1 week internship, where you understand what is the corporate culture look like. Then you jump into 2 months practice school internship, and the third year you are working at OK Credit and at a very good stipend. I know that. So tell me all about your experience in practice school.
So, in the first year, we had something like we go for a visit to a company, and a representative from the company tells us about the processes and the areas of the company, how they work, how they operate, and what is the workflow. So, initially, it doesn't look like much, but when we have a deeper look into it, so telling the students how a company works in the first year itself helps them to understand that what kind of culture do they want in the second year internship. So it was not that we were taken to the companies based on our the degree which were like computer science or mechanical. It was a good mixture of all of those. So even if I am from computer science or I'm from mechanical, I would want that okay, this kind of company is something that I like how they work, and maybe he likes the culture so much that he might in the second year go approach them themselves himself or herself and get into the company for a role which suits him or her. So it was a very balanced introduction to the work culture, the corporate sector, and how the companies work. So by the second year, we got to know that okay, so we were ready to face the company. So if we directly go into a company and start working there, it might become a little bit tense for students. So getting a gist of everything in the first year and then stepping into the company for 2 months in the second year is a good way of a good approach of doing things. And then in the 2 months internship, we get a very good overview inside the company. So it was outside, I would say, the for the first year. And second year, you start working for the company and how the people there communicate, how internal teams communicate, and how the workflow is there for technical ones, I would say. And for even for the non-technical, there are many things which we only know once we go into the company. So 2 months is a short duration for an internship, but getting a knowledge for that is very important before third year, which is a full-fledged internship for 6 months. So these for the 6 month internship, actually for our batch, it was in fourth year. So the last semester was there. So if, when you work for such a long time in a company, you get to know the in and out of the profile that you're working for. Let us say I work for software engineer profile. So we get to know how particular things are used, what the tools are used, and how internally, if you want to convey something to the leadership, how what process you follow, and how the overall functioning of the team goes, how you can optimize the functioning. So that is also a very great time to get into that and take advantage of that situation. So giving the students chance to work in the companies like that is a very good step, I would say, by the college, because before getting into a full-time role, if you get doses of like these corporate uh, world, so it is a very good stepping stone into getting a full-time
It's
into
good to
the college.
develop the taste buds before going over there. Great,
Right, right.
great. So you very well pointed it out, what you highlighted while you were explaining that practice school. Every practice school is building the foundation for next practice school.
Right.
And when you do 6 months internship, a long internship, practice school 3, that is making you ready for the corporate. So
Right.
that's very well said. Okay. So when I asked you about that, what was the first thing what you liked about BMU? You talked about facilities, infrastructure, and the facility of any academic institution that impact the overall learning process. And I would say that it affects the academic performance also to some extent. So
Right.
I want you to talk about infrastructure, which is available in BMU, library facilities and lab, and how student can make the best use of these facilities. So
So, if I talk about the labs first, for every branch, I've seen the labs are totally equipped with whatever you might need. For electrical, there are labs with all the equipments, and for mechanical, as I told, the robotics part is also very highly developed, and every kind of machinery which they might use in a company is already present in the lab, and they can get used to it. For computers also, there are a lot of computer labs in a in a college, and
yes,
for almost for a computer science student, 4 years they'll keep visiting the lab and all. And it is very I would say the approach to setting up the infrastructure. When I say approach, I mean that the kind of environment that is provided in the lab is very great, because when you think of coding something or learning something, there is a particular set of surroundings you need. I must, if I say that a learning environment has to be set up for
yes,
doing things. We can't be just sitting anywhere and doing anything. So all those things are kept in mind very nicely in every lab which is present in BMU. And for the library, each and every student used to go to the library for studying. It is a very good place, I would say. Even if you ask any person who has been to the library, he will say that it is the best place in the college. And we used to visit there, and the books, any kind of book you need will be available. And there are now we have online resources also, and so any kind of assistance you need there, any kind of learning material you need there, you won't get shortage of anything there. The environment is good, the surroundings are set up in such a way that enhances the mood, I would say. Because if it is not set up in a proper way, that you get irritated and you might not feel like learning or feel like studying. But it is not the case anywhere in VMU. All the labs and all the library totally is fully made in such a way that enhances your learning capabilities. And other than that, I would say the overall infrastructure of the classrooms also is very good. They are spacious and fully normally we don't get proper sunlight, so the classes would be dim, but it is not the case there. We have big windows and good sunlight is there. And some we in some cases, like we had to pull down the curtains on almost all the windows to stabilize that. So I would say that overall, everything which has been done in classrooms, labs, or libraries has been done to help students, and it has been done in a very nice way, I would say.
great, Piyush. Very well said that a good ambience and good learning environment always increases the productivity. So good. Okay, let's talk about your perspective courses. BMU does not produce only engineers. They believe in, holistic development of the students. You have various perspective courses. You are given an opportunity to participate in co-curricular activities. Maybe it's your annual fest or a lot of clubs. So you might have also indulged into sports or a co-curricular activities, and few perspective courses also where you were given an opportunity to develop your soft skills, communication, sales and negotiation skill, sales and negotiation skills. So such kind of a experience, how did it add to your personality?
From the experience what I have from Google interview, I would say that these are very, very important for anyone who is getting out of a college and going into a corporate world. Because what I think is, if you need some technical skills for a job, then the soft skills are equally important. How you communicate, how you put forward your point to others, and so that is equally important in interviews, because a corporate in corporate world your communication has to be up to the mark, so that your team or the ideas you want to convey to the team have to be crystal clear. So at that point of time we didn't know that it might have such a great effect on our uh, overall development as an engineer, because we think that okay, as an engineer we just need to code, or we just need the technical skills, we don't need to like talk to others much, so that won't be necessary. For non-technical ones only it will be necessary. So that was totally not correct. And these things, as it is said, that these are soft skills, so you won't get to see a particular thing being implemented directly in front of you, but how you talk to a person. And only I would say an expert would be able to recognize that what kind of skill you are using at that point of time. So if I say that I learned communication skills, so now I'm communicating with you, so I might not know that what kind of skill I am using, or what kind of skill I was lacking in. So if we study these kind of courses, then unknowingly we inculcate some values which will help us in the future a lot. And same is the case with clubs, and as you said, that events which are organized. And so students here in BMU are more focused on getting the clubs to work properly than studying. So the clubs are really very, very active,
Hmm.
and the events which are organized, the students put in everything they have all the time. They are getting up till late night to make things happen. And so that is a very good point, which I thought. I personally was a part of a photography club also.
Okay.
So we used to like uh, hold a lot of workshops for new incoming students, and we used to like actually give them the camera in their hands for clicking the photos. So that is a part I like a lot about BMU. And the sports team also, we have the sports fest, and there's a lot of teams arrive at our college, and almost in all the things we like excel. And uh, there is a lot of focus given on co-curricular activities, I would say, than the curricular activities in our college, and that is a good mixture of things, I would say.
Right. Okay, so talk about some sports facilities where you spend your time in the evening. You were a bright student. I know that you always used to submit your assignment and quiz every time. But did you manage the time to relax and going in the playground and, playing with the friends? Because all such kind of things also helps you to, develop your team skills. You have to work in team in corporate, and once you know how to share and how to be in the team even while playing any sports, so that helps you to build your skills as well. So that's great if you highlighted that part, right? Okay, so as I was focusing on that, engineering education demands a lot of time to be more focused on home assignments, quizzes, and study material, whatever is being discussed. You have to be really in sync what with respect to the lectures being delivered by the teachers. Is there any other time which you used to devote after completion of assignment and quiz, because you need to focus on your career as well? So
Right.
how did you manage your extra time to develop your extra, skills like coding and problem solving skills cannot be, groomed or cannot be developed only in a 1 day or 2 days. It
Right.
demands, uh, consistent practice. So how did you manage it?
So, as I told in, I think the first question, even with minimum efforts, you can reach that CGPA level which is demanded by the company. So
Okay.
CGPA doesn't matter much. So
Okay, let's talk about more in detail. People may might get misleaded also with minimum efforts. I mean, there is no need to study and they
okay.
get good CGPA. Let's
Okay,
talk
right.
about more that what do you
Yeah,
mean by that minimum
yeah.
efforts? What is exactly defined in that minimum effort?
So with minimum efforts, I mean paying attention in the class.
Very well said.
So if you, just used to pay attention in the class, whatever the teacher is teaching and whatever assignments are being given on a daily basis. So if you keep your attendance good and you pay a good amount of focus in a class, then the entire evening is yours, and you need not give extra effort into learning what was done in the class. So normally what students used to do is they would used to do extra things in the class, and then when the assignments come or exams come, they used to devote then the extra time towards the class materials. So that is totally not okay, because if you are attending the class, then it is better to devote that part of your day into learning what is being taught. And after that, whenever I also used to do these things, and during the midsem or end sems, it is just the revision which is left, because you already know the concepts and you already know how the things work. And so that is what I meant with minimum efforts. So minimum and smart efforts, I would say.
That's a great mantra. You
Yeah,
share it with all our audience over here, our prospective students. So if you are in sync with all your classes, what is being discussed in the class, and you practice every day and you revise every day, so there is no need to put a lot of efforts and particularly to be there in last night fight at the time of examination. So that's
right.
great, Piyush. Very well said. Okay, so when did you plan that you thought of yes you have to build your career and to be there in such kind of a companies, I mean Google? So was it only in a that was decided in fourth year, or you were very focused during first year itself? And how did you plan, because getting into Google was not easy. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that it really required a lot of efforts, focused. And how did you plan all these things during these 4 years?
So during the first year, I mainly focused on machine learning,
Okay.
because when you first think about engineering, so machine learning, artificial intelligence, these are the buzzwords which come into your mind. So my first the thing which I learned was machine learning. But by the end of first year, I thought that it is not that interesting. So so
Okay.
I switched my focus to cybersecurity then, and I started doing cybersecurity, and I got a lot of interest into that field. And during the second year practice schools, I found that getting a cybersecurity profile is more difficult right now in India, because there are not many jobs. It is a demand, but right now it might get a little difficult, because it needs a lot of certifications also to get a job in cybersecurity. So at that point of time, you came to me and you told that you need to take part in Try Visit tournament,
Yes.
which was being held. So I
Right.
told you that I've never done competitive programming. So you
Hmm.
told that there has to be a start somewhere. So it is good that you start right now.
Okay.
So at that point, I gave the tournament, and the rank was not very good. But it helped me to get a view into a field which was not yet seen by me. So after that, by your help and by I contacted some seniors, Naman Bhalla also. So I got into contact with him. So I started doing competitive programming at that point of time, starting of third year, I would say. So he also was preparing for Google and such companies, the FANG companies. So every word of advice I got from him, I followed it diligently, and I used to code and I used to practice. Not because I was to get into something, but I liked it so much that I used to like me and Vishal, my friend. We used to like even during having food in the mess, we used to talk about questions that, oh, I saw this question, it is solved like this. And whenever we find an interesting one, so we ask him that, okay, this is the question, how would you solve it? So it became a part of life basically, and I was not doing it for the end goal right now, but because I was enjoying the journey. And then in December last year, I got to know that Naman Bhala has cleared Google.
Mhm.
So at that point of time, the first, I would say, the first instinct into me came that okay, I also can do it. It means because he has also done it. So because so when something, someone who is known or in close vicinity to you gets something that you, then you get something inside you that you might also be able to do it.
That inspires
So
you.
after that, I started doing preparation in double speed, triple speed. So day and night, whenever I get time, I used to code. I used to practice for Google from that point of time, and through practice and consistency, I cracked the interview then.
So great. Very well said that he mentioned about one of our another alumni, Naman Bhala, who is also working in Google, and he mentioned one another thing which is really very important, that you cannot leave anything, you cannot practice anything only in a day or 2 days. So it requires a lot of efforts, and by participating in a lot of coding competition every time and be on various platform, which are related to a competitive programming, and going through your leaderboard where you get your ranks and getting it updating, setting up self goals and keep improving surely helps you to reach your end goal. So maybe a getting into Google was not might not be an end goal for Piyush, but
Yeah.
he has somewhere in the back of mind that yes, he has to place somewhere in FANG level companies, and he finally made it. Great, great,
Yeah.
Piyush. Good. Okay. So we talked about a lot, about BMU. If I ask you that you have to describe your 4 years journey at BML Munjal University, how will you define it?
Hmm. It'll take a lot, quite a lot of efforts to summarize
Okay,
all the feelings and all the
right.
experiences.
Okay,
But I would say that before, like I said, before coming into engineering, I had some things which I wanted in a college, which should not be like a traditional college. So firstly, that thing was met, and I in within the first semester, I would say I got to know that this is not a traditional college, and the facilities which are being provided, the environment, the surroundings which are set here, and so those were very much to my help. Personally, I would say if others don't feel so, that is okay. But I personally feel the ambience of the college is very good, and
okay,
there is no stress and whatever thing you feel. And one more thing I would like to point out, whenever during a course we used to feel that something is required or something is not required, that was taken by the faculty or the coordinator very seriously, and as soon as possible it was implemented. If it is possible to implement it at that point of time, it was done, or in the next for the next coming students it was done. I have personally seen more than 10 major changes in course framework because of the feedback that they got from the students. So that is a very good point about this university, I would say, that the feedback of the students is kept at the front, and for the teachers also, it would be same only. So how you would like to like the course to function, it was taken care of. So that ultimately leads to a better learning curve, because whatever you feel right has been done, and whatever you might feel right, but it is, if it is not up to the standards, that then you are told, or you are taught in a similar fashion, and you are given the reasons for that. So it is quite an open dialogue between the authorities and the students. So that is a very a plus point about this university, and that has made the overall journey very less straining and very much more enjoyable. And yeah, if I want to, I can like keep on talking about the positives about the university. But
Great.
that was, I guess, a summary about everything.
Yeah, it's being nostalgic to talk about all such stuff and recall that one. So great. And the one thing which you pointed out really very well, that working with peers, like you mentioned about Vishal Sharma, right? One of your friend, right? So it's not only about the friendly chat. You used to talk even about the programming things over a lunch or over a cup of coffee, and working with your alumni. So it's good that when you work in a team, you can discuss and you can make your work more productive. And if you get stuck, your friend helps, or maybe alumni helps, or your teacher helps. So yes, you have to be there in isolation in your efforts, but whenever there is some problem, always do approach to some other one also. So good. And okay, now let's talk about because when engineering education comes, people study a lot of engineering courses. They study about microprocessor, architecture, different kind of programming languages, data structure, algorithms. And is there any particular thing which you would like to talk about, that what should be the technical skills which every student must possess or start preparing for it so that they can advance their career?
Uh, I would say that every skill which is required for getting getting ahead as a engineer has been taken care of in the coursework itself. If
Mm-hmm.
I talk about my profile, then we need to know about operating systems, databases, computer networks, and object-oriented programming. So everything which is required has been covered in the coursework, and we need to pay special attention in the classes for these core subjects, which we say. And if this the knowledge gained from the coursework is enough to get ahead as a person or as an engineer in your field. And other than that, you might require some kind of grooming other outside the course, like revising some concepts or getting some advanced concepts if you feel interested. So I think the coursework covers that very well, and it is designed in such a way to keep all these things into consideration.
Great. Great. You very well said that you cannot work only within the silos. If I have to be only a Python programmer or a Java programmer, so do I know only about these programming language? No, I shall know about operating systems so that I can understand more advanced threading concepts, how these things work, memory management, and how it is being programmed.
Yeah.
So the course, which is, or the curriculum which is being offered, every course has its own importance, and you need to do justice with every course, because all these uh, independent courses helps you to somewhere in other courses as well. It
Right.
increases your understanding. So great, good, very well said, Piyush. Okay, so great. And now, apart from technical skills, though you pointed out even soft skills and communication skills, let's talk about more in detail that because I generally encourage my students not to be good at only coding or programming or a problem solving skills, but they should know about that how to talk about it, right? And they should know if they have some kind of a point, so they should ask. Even in my class, I always ask students to raise their questions, but some students are so introvert and they do not come up and discuss their problems. So does soft skills also, I mean, the kind of that, is there any importance of a soft skills while appearing in an interview? You might have gone through series of Google interviews, right? It was not in a one round, obviously there
Yeah.
must have been series of round, and you must have been asked to explain the approach to solve a problem. How did you reach to that particular problem, that this could be the solution? So
Yeah.
here your soft skills help or communication skills help. So
Right.
what do you is there any particular thing which you would like to convey to our prospective student they need to focus on, so that in addition to technical, they should come up to that kind of other skills also in their hand, so that maybe it helps them to get into interview in a more successful manner, or it may help you to reach to further rounds as well.
So, for any kind of interview, if we talk about whether it is technical or non-technical, there is some kind of communication which is set up between you and a representative of a company. If it is non-technical, it might be that it is totally communication-based interview, that the HR asks about the hobbies or your likings or a hypothetical situation and how would you react to that. So if we see for a hypothetical situation, the first thing which we need is communicating your idea. So how well are you able to describe the solution to a problem which you have thought of in your mind? It might be that you have the perfect solution to that problem, but you are not able to convey it to the HR. So the HR might think that, okay, you have not got the solution. So that is the first point, communicating your idea. And secondly, in such situations, there are some ethics which need to be followed. And so the ethics and morals of your personality come out in this time. So we mostly do not focus on the ethics in a normal technical background, but it is very much important because as we speak, even if I tell about Google, they pay much more attention to ethics of their employees than anything else. So when you do, we are normally when you're not focusing much on ethics, so a course is required so that you pay extra attention to it, so that it comes to your own attention that you need to give more attention, more focus to this particular part of your personality. So these kind of courses help a lot, even for technical. When you are coding in an interview, you need to speak during the coding. So we say that talk while coding. So you need to tell each and every process that you are following. And during this time, the main thing which comes up is how well you work in a team. So if in a college project you think that okay, the others are not coping up much, so you'll do it yourself only. So when you do such things, that doing it yourself only, so you're not inculcating that particular skill into your personality, that you can explain to others what you're doing right now. So if you're not able to explain to the interviewer what you are coding right now, then it is a big problem. And even if you solve the question completely, the interviewer might reject you, since you were not able to communicate
Definitely.
properly,
Right.
you were not able to explain the solution properly. So, as I said, technical skills are, if they are important in interview, equally important are social skills. And so, yeah, that is the main takeaway for me from Google. There are some cases where a person codes everything perfectly fine, perfectly using everything. But if he is not able to communicate the solution to the interviewer, then he might get rejected.
So good that so a blend of skills, which is not only technical, even soft skills also play an important role. So these two skills definitely helps you to, you know, helps you not only in career, but that helps you to in every aspect of your life. If
In
you
every
have
aspect, right?
something, definitely you should know that how to speak up about that thing.
Yeah.
Something which is in your mind, you should be able to speak it very well, right? Good. So I think not even it was a nostalgic thing for you to recall everything. Even I also discussed a lot of things about BML. So great. So thank you, Piyush. It was a great knowing about your experience at BMU, and I am pretty sure that all the prospective students who are attending this webinar must have learned how to start preparing for a career in the first year itself, and how BML Munjal University facilitates its students to shape their career. So great. Thank you so much, Piyush.
Thanks for having me, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, Piyush. Right. Thank you.
Oh, bye, ma'am.